And that was the purpose of that tool. You wouldn't get rid of these people out of your circle.
Right.
You just filter those things that you don't want to hear them saying. And a lot of people aren't even saying anything about it. They're just resharing, which kind of touches on what Bobby Joe was talking about.
Yeah.
They're not
Adding.
pretending.
They're not adding
They're
to
just resharing. Oh, and that's just annoying.
Yeah.
No, the lag's not too bad for me, so thank God, because I'm the one freaking, or moving the thing around. But yeah,
Yeah, it was me.
that's all right. So like just looking at some of these, just some of them. I mean, sure, what has value, what doesn't have value is all based on your own interpretation. What you're going to use, what you're not going to use. Like something like a word quiz.
I think even beyond that though, like we need more people actually creating quality content. Bar none. Bar none. Like that needs to be a focus, and the internet generation has kind of fucked that up a little bit because the whole social media thing in general, it's cool and it has its place and it's important, but that shouldn't overshadow actually creating things.
Yeah, but do you not think that it's possible that some of these things are humorous and can count as creating creative content, or do you think that's overstretching?
That's a big stretch.
Is it?
That's a big stretch. Yeah, because you're dude, like.
What if it makes you laugh?
You can't actually compare creating a meme in 5 seconds to something that an artist has made from scratch that has put time and effort into it. You can make the connection that it hits as many people and it might be as popular,
right.
But one thing lasts and one thing gives back fundamentally a little more to our society, I think, in my opinion, than the other.
Right. But in what you're saying is true.
The balance is getting a little
in a
shifty
sense,
there.
but it's amazing. Everyone, and if some artist is working something for a long time, it should be better than something for 5 seconds. But again, skills and time put into it. But
yes,
I know what you're saying.
but what happens when you create all these memes? We've created a culture that that digests things very easily and has a very low attention span, and that's like there's a reason for that, and I think there needs to be a pushback from the other side a little more.
I'm here pushing on the other side.
I am too, brother. I am
agree
too.
100%.
See,
I think it's gotten out of hand too.
Thank you.
I think that's
because I mean, when we look back, are you going to remember a fucking cat meme, or are you going to remember a Jimi Hendrix song?
Right.
Like
Depends
what
on
lives
your
on?
perspective. Depends on what you like best.
Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no.
I'm gonna remember
in
both.
general.
I like both.
That's true. I just think that
Right, you're talking about individual tastes.
No, not. I mean, I think it transcends that a little bit. It's
Yeah.
probably not the best example of it, but
Yeah.
I mean, man, like one thing inspires people, like truly inspires people. The other one does it? Like,
but can I?
Well, the other side of the argument
it's what it
is that
perpetuates. It's what what pushes.
Is it a
what
stretch
effect
to
it has
think?
on
Is it a
society,
stretch to think?
what it brings out of people?
Is it a stretch for someone to think someone sees a cat meme on Google Plus and they've never posted a picture, they've never done anything with graphics, they've never created anything in that respect, and then they decide, I really like that, I'm going to try to do it, and then they go and try to do it, and then from that they decide they like that and they try to learn more about that. Is that a stretch too, to think that could happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes,
That's a big
it is.
stretch.
Okay, I don't think so, but
It's a
I
big-
think they're going to
Okay,
try
so
to
then,
learn.
in everybody's mind, everybody here agrees then that Ben Hu or Ben Hu, I forget how you pronounce it, he's basically a fucking joke. Is that what it is?
The
Because he's the one who
cheeseburger.
started the low cats.
I don't know who that is.
he does.
He
He does
started
the
I Can Have Cheeseburger. He started the lol cats.
yeah, cat pictures.
The
With,
whole thing.
But see, Bobby Joe, there's a thing there too. He started that. It became big. Why is everybody copying off of it? Do something
Yeah,
else.
do your own thing.
Right.
That's the whole. That's the idea.
It's
Yeah.
been
It's
done.
a contribution. It's
It was
No,
a great idea.
no,
It's funny.
No,
Something
come
that-
on. As if, come on. Like, yeah, I don't know.
But it's done, and then everyone copying it is not.
It's not a contribution. It's a regurgitation of something. There's a difference there.
Okay, so let me
well,
ask
so is
this.
every movie then,
Yes.
in a
Right.
sense.
Let
I
me
mean,
ask
come on,
this.
in music.
Well,
Well, no, but I mean, you're making a big stretch there too, though.
Well, it's
Like,
just
let's
I
be
think it's a
fair
similar
on, like-
stretch.
There's a lot of Hollywood movies that are just copying. Yeah, you're right.
I
I'm
mean,
just-
I think that copying effects in movies and stuff like that, and copying a storyline, that's tacky, and I'll call movies out that do that too. I mean,
But it's
that's
hard
the
to
same
be,
thing.
yeah. But just because something isn't like 120 million% original, because everyone copies a little bit from here and there. They're inspired and they from different people and in different styles. Doesn't mean that it's not original. It just means that it's not. It's like the same people that are on Google Plus that are saying, they say, oh look, this person, all they do is share, 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 but then maybe they add, like when I share something, I try to add something more than just the video.
But that's what I mean.
Link.
You add your own
Right,
thought
but
behind it.
right, but my point is that then the same people that say, oh, all you do is share without caring that I add my own thought, they will post stuff that they call original, and all they're doing is taking stuff that someone else already wrote, or and saying it a different way.
I wouldn't
or
agree.
taking a
I wouldn't
video.
agree with them saying that it's original then.
But no, because right. But I think that's a big thing, that what people consider original versus shared versus unoriginal versus it's like, I think Google Plus and social media and the internet is for everything, and I think if you specifically only want to see very deep conversations, things that really make you think beyond a certain your opinion a certain way, there is a sense of humor, there is something like there's overkill on both ends. If your whole stream is like tech article, da 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 da, or it's all cats, or it's gonna get boring. Nobody wants to see, maybe some people, but I don't want to see all the same things over and over again.
Everything in balance, and that's why I brought it up in the first place. Because for me, right now, it's not balanced online.
Right.
It's quantity over quantity over quality right now, right? And I think that needs to be balanced more than it is right now.
It's playing to the lowest denominator, and what gets lots of hits on YouTube is not something that is thought-provoking as much as it is something that is amusing and very temporary.
Easily digestible as well.
I think for me, it's not necessarily whether it's thought-provoking or not. But I think my only point with the whole meme thing is it just gets old. When someone comes up with a great idea, yeah, it's funny, it's cool, it's nice, like lolcats. I think they're funny. But everybody doesn't have to do that. It gets, to use a term, it gets played out. Okay, move on. Let's do something else. Let's create something.
That's pretty much what I
Well,
feel.
what's interesting to me is that we have these kinds of contradictory behaviors, because we have things that are repeated that we see over and over and over again, like the dancing squid has come back, okay? But at the same time, when we have a serious conversation, it doesn't generate itself beyond 24 hours. There seems to be like this self-limiting thing with a conversation that stops it after a 24-hour period. It's like it's one day, and then it's time to move on to another conversation.
Well, what's interesting? Well,
that depends on the platform though, and the people doing it. Because I've had like ongoing discussions that are kind of thought-provoking in their own way that do live on beyond that. But I mean, I do agree that by and large it is kind of like that. But I think that there's a shift happening, and we can change that trend.
Well, I don't know. There's two big things with that, right? Is that if you see a thought-provoking conversation, you read the conversation, you're like, oh, that's good. Maybe I'll share it and start a new one. But a lot of the ones that have, like, even a Scobble, Perillo, or a post that has a lot of comments, most people will not sit there and even read one comment, let alone all the comments. So, and I'm guilty of this. I will see something interesting, and I will post my thoughts on it, even if there's 50 comments above it, because I don't really want to read all 50 comments, and I don't know if that means I'm not being part of the conversation by just giving my opinion, because I read the post, and there's that, and there's also people, when you see your stream, when you see pictures and videos and colors, that catches your eye. If your whole stream was just text, maybe a link here or there, you might not stop. You might, So there is something to posts combining text and videos and pictures and links. What was Bobby J doing?
Yeah, the thing with this topic though is there's two inherent rules with any social network. The first one is you can circle, follow, fan whoever you want. And two, you can, basically, shit, I completely forgot what I was going to say. Someone else, go ahead.
Don't swear in front of the ladies. What? Who said that?
Well, today...
someone else go ahead.
Well, today for the first time, I've been on since July, and today for the first day ever, I felt that I had a stream that really fulfilled me. And it was really amazing. And I wrote about it. So anybody who wants to go to my profile for today, you'll see where I wrote, I had like 12 random people that I didn't know before I came on G+. And the conversation that flowed from that was amazing to see. I had all kinds of stuff, everything from technocrats to, you know, people who were simply putting forward old stuff. But it was a great, I think that that's what we all need to do is build it, right?
Yeah.
Are we talking about what people are streaming, or are we talking about the content of what they're streaming? I thought we were talking about the content.
It's both.
Content.
They both, because they both kind of play into.
Yeah.
Because I can see, like, say, because I know, I tell you what, I look forward to Thursdays with Bobby Joe and Thursday Drafts. I love that. It cracks me up every Thursday.
I can't take full credit. Robert Headley came up with that.
But the thing is, if suddenly everyone, for me, if everyone started spinning off on that idea, and everywhere I turned, if I went to Facebook and Twitter, someone was doing Monday puppies or Tuesday something, I would only think, well, I saw Bobby Joe doing that, or whoever she got it from. I thought it was cool. It's funny. I like it. But that doesn't mean everyone else in the world should just keep perpetuating that. You know,
well, that gets into the mainstream thing. That gets into
it stales and it cheapens the whole original thought.
That gets into when things are mainstream, right? When indie things become mainstream. Yeah. And the thing, what comes to my mind off the top of my head is, you know, it just happens, is Rent. The musical Rent, when it first came out, it was independent. It was about AIDS. There was homosexuality. There was a lot of things going on. And people were like, oh, this is really cool. And most people didn't like it. And for somewhere along the line, it went, and it's great that people discover art. It went from being this independent, you know, people walking out on it because there were people dying of AIDS and gay people in it, to, oh my God, now everybody's in love with it. Everyone's singing the music. It's like Guys and Dolls now. So it's that kind of thing where something like a cool band that no one's ever heard of, that people start to hear of, then becomes like Nirvana or Green Day or something big, and it's all of a sudden now they're no longer that cool little band. They're now mainstream. So it's not as cool. What were you gonna say?
You know, for me it's weird. Like I've had like bands ruined for me, anyways, because of I really liked listening to them before, and then after they got popular, I had like people that I thought were like kind of just stupid, like listening to it all the time and singing the lyrics, and I'm
like, should
like,
the band
fuck.
suffer because of that? I mean, is that fair?
No, fuck no, they shouldn't, but they do. I mean, we're human beings, right? I mean,
exactly.
But is my point? Does this transcend into social media and G Plus the same way? Like something's really cool, and then everyone's doing it, so it's not cool anymore. It's like that idea.
No, it's like Radiohead. Look, OK Computer, one of my favorite albums ever, and they got really popular. But the reason I don't like In Rainbows or the crap they did after that is not because they were popular. It's because it sucks.
Right.
Compared to OK Computer.
I'd severely disagree with that, but that's cool.
Okay.
That's cool. And that's one thing I like about Radiohead though, is that they take the fucking crazy chance of doing that. At least they did it.
No, I can respect that they're out there, but I don't.
So what boxes are you taking?
It does definitely not for everybody.
Hey, Armin, you're really loud, Armin.
I think the difference is, Matthew, I think the difference is that, at least for me anyway, I think the difference when comparing it to, you know, we got on that tangent where it was once a cool band and now everybody's listening to it and everybody's doing it.
Right.
I think the problem comes into play with social media is it's not that everyone does it, it's everyone does it to death. And they just keep doing it and keep doing it. It's like, okay, enough already. Like I said with the hashtags, stop it. You know, like
it just started
people,
here.
I know I have personal friends who hashtag everything and they don't even know what hashtags are. And I call them out on it all the time. Why are you doing that? I don't know. I saw so-and-so was doing it, so I did it.
Right. Well, I don't agree with that.
Or just balance it out. Just have balance in it a little bit.
Just balance it out.
So, Mike, we were talking earlier about sharing original content versus like memes on social media, and you had something you were going to say and you forgot. Do you remember what that was?
Well, like I was saying in the chat, though, now that I remember what I was going to say, it's not really relevant to the conversation.
No, but you can pop it in. That's fine. If you remember it, that's okay. There's no rules.
Well, yeah, but I don't want to mess up the
No, you're not. I know where I put a
fine.
bookmark. I put a bookmark where we are. Go ahead. This is what's cool about Hangouts and G+, that we can bookmark that and come back to it or not.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So what I was trying to say, because I forgot, because I need to eat, was there's basically two inherent rules with social networks, and the first one is follow whoever you want and post whatever you want, and if you don't like what someone's posting, you just revert to the first rule, which is Don't follow them and follow somebody else.
Oh, my Broseph has made it. Hello, Broseph Joseph Lee. We asked your G4. You're on Conversations Plus. Welcome.
Aloha.
Are we still on?
Yeah, we're still live streaming and recording. Dr. Lee, welcome.
Oh.
I hope that you deliver my baby one day.
Get out.
Okay.
We're talking
I
about...
have to listen to Mike. He's white.
Okay. Joseph Lee,
Whoa.
we talked about memes, and you're the perfect person to talk about memes because that was a topic about... No, we're not. We were talking about...
I don't make
But
memes.
but
you
Joseph
like
has balance. He's like the perfect example because he has balance in that there's
In the
memes,
Force?
but he also posts like thought-provoking stuff as well.
Yes, because I
Every
am not
morning I
a
check
one-dimensional
Joseph
meme
And a lot of
maker.
food.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like
I have-
some posters are just one notes. They just post one single type of thing, and it's cool. But you know, I mean, it's nice to have a range. of
What?
stuff.
You want to name some names? What? I'm just kidding.
I have to say, Joseph Lee is the first one I check in the morning, and I'm not ashamed to say it because he's always got some either interesting breakfast or some
Or it's just
scientific
completely ridiculous. That's funny. Yeah, it's awesome.
or some scientific like awesomeness that I have to
That's-
look at and go, oh my god, I can't even wrap my brain around it.
It's good to start the day with something delicious, even if you can't eat it.
Or a cat? What? Did you say cat? I'm just kidding.
Actually, I'm saving all my cats for Catterday, so.
So
it's
that's
good to put
that's why
ones
we're
on.
just talking about it. So, you know, a lot of people in this room can do without Catterday. They use the filter, and they think that he's like, boo.
Well, yeah, they should do that. Actually, I was gonna make a post about when they were talking about real-time searches and hashtags. They should make a filtering option to exclude certain keywords. Like if you say -cats, you will not see any posts with any reference to cats in them. So that would be a pretty powerful way of filtering and controlling your stream in the future.
So, but let me ask
Can
you
you-
this. But let me ask this about meme posts in
Almost
general.
there.
What were we gonna say, Leo?
I said, well, that's what Muhammad developed.
Right, but it'd be
So-
nice if Google just had it instead of using extensions.
Yeah, because
you know.
it's kind of not. It does have its faults.
Yeah, having like.
Well, if the
30
interview goes well, perhaps Mohammed will give it to Google.
The thing is,
For the
though,
right
for
price.
Google the thing is, though, for Google to implement something like that, I don't think that they would necessarily do that because that would kind of be against their whole strategy of getting more people to interact on Google Plus. So if they implemented something like that, less people would interact less with posts potentially, and that could potentially hurt their numbers.
Hey,
But I think
I think
I don't
there's
think they're that
plenty of
concerned about. Yeah, there's so many
There's
posts
so
that I don't
many
think they're that
posts.
concerned about it. Because
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I can't even follow my stream, anyways. Like if they, if I cut out half of the posts that I see on my stream,
it would have made a
it
difference.
would still
right.
be enough.
No.
So,
I mean, what do you have against Boolean tags, Mike Stringer?
I don't even know what that is.
No, wait,
if
listen,
we
Joseph.
if we could implement Boolean searches, I mean, if I could like just stick like some clarifiers in my searches for like I just want to see Matthew and Bobby Joe's and everyone's in my inner circles posts without actually having to put you in a specific circle in the search box. That would be pretty awesome.
Okay, yes, that would. And when you said Boolean or what, I thought you were talking about gold. So, okay.
Yeah. Did I get too Asian for you? I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Joseph, along those lines, along
like
those
it's pronounced Boleen in Lebanon.
interesting facts learned on Hangout. Sweet.
Ha, ha.
Hashtag that what? Joseph Lee, along those lines, we were talking about how people coming to a new Lucas, a new social media place, a new space, don't understand what certain things mean, certain memes, certain abbreviations, acronyms, things like that. Do you think that someone coming to a new circle, a new place, and all they see is like cats and Baby Day and this and that, and they don't know what's going on? Do you think that's gonna make them want to like shut off, and they're gonna get lost and be like, I don't know what's going on, I can't handle it, it's too much for me? Or do you think it's fun for them to learn? Or because a lot of people were saying that that's a way to shut people off and turn people off from Google Plus.
Alright, whenever I encounter some crazy acronym, like WWJD, which is what would Jesus do, and I only found that out by Googling it, so...
What would Joseph do?
Or, yeah, what
Well,
would
whatever,
Joseph do as
Joseph,
well.
Jesus.
But you can, yeah, you can take, like, Boober Day, stick it into Google search, find all the relevant posts, and you will get a general idea what the hell that means.
Right. Exactly. So basically what you're saying is if you don't understand, that's what Google Plus search and Google search is for.
That's what the search is for.
Okay.
I mean, don't make me Google Plus search it for you. I'm sure there's going to be a website for that.
Yeah.
But I think my point wasn't whether I understood it or not, or whether new people understood it. It's whether I care about
Would
it.
you care? All right. That's fair.
Whether I'm interested in it continuing, because I don't think it adds much.
So if you were to talk about your ideal post that you want to see flowing through your stream, because this is an argument I have all the time. People know what they don't want, but do people know what they want? And you say thought-provoking, but give me an example of some posts you can't.
I like tons of stuff,
Okay.
but I love. First of all, there's tons of great photographers on Google Plus. So
Right.
what inspires me almost as much as anything are some of the photographers, because these pictures and images to me are just amazing.
Right.
You're horrified
I'm
by
horrified by
HDR
them.
photography?
I'm horrified by them. Listen, I've spent the last 2 decades teaching and dealing in photography. That's my profession. And I'm horrified
As a
by HDR
layperson
photography.
who likes
So,
pretty pictures,
I know. See, and I know that there's a big difference. So when I'm asking for the quality I'm demanding of my stream, it's very different from yours. And I think that's the joy of G+. I think
right.
that's the absolute brilliance of G+, is that
and we're
my
probably-
stream is very different from yours.
probably following different photographers then. Yeah.
I don't follow any, actually.
Yeah.
I don't follow
So,
any.
anyways,
Everybody
That's-
but everybody has their preferences. Is what you're trying to say.
That's right, and we all get to choose them, and that's the good
it's not
thing.
like one kind of thing that I like. I like lots of different kinds of things. So I don't think you could say this is my ideal post. That's just a fallacy.
Right. There is. I don't necessarily mean like word for word. I'm just saying, you know what you don't like versus what you do like. But, do you think that it's possible? Do you think it's possible by either filtering or by saying you don't like certain kinds of posts, you're gonna miss Goldmine's post, you're gonna miss Magic, you're gonna miss something that you wish you could have seen, but you don't think so? You think?
Well,
nah.
I think you're really focused for some reason on what people might be missing out by not looking at these Boober Day or Catterday.
Not just but I'm not focused on Boober Day or Catterday. You're missing.
I don't feel like I'm missing anything. So if
But
I am, then
I'm
I guess
not. No, I'm not sitting here defending Boober Day or Catterday per se. I'm talking about anything overall.
Popular.
But-
Well,
yeah, it
actually,
doesn't have to be just Boober Day or Catterday.
socialstatistics.com has like a nice section for the latest popular posts of the day. So
Right.
if you really want to find posts with the most shares and
Yeah, but most
pluses,
people won't do that. I do that. I use that.
yeah.
I don't want to know what's most popular. I want to know what's interesting.
Right. But you decide.
There could
what's
be a
interesting.
correlation to something that's interesting being most popular. I mean, I would only share something I would find interesting.
But see, here I
hope
just-
everyone
I
else
just-
would at the
I-
same time.
I don't think there is a correlation between most popular and interesting
It's-
necessarily.
Yeah, you make a good point because how many things? If you go over there, you see. Let's say you see Hugh Jackman's picture, right? Okay, great. He's on there. He's got 1,000+ ones for one picture. We all know what Hugh Jackman mostly looks like. All right, so it's how I mean, all right, he's on Google Plus. That's great. But one picture turns into 5 pictures, and all 5 pictures have 800 or 1,000+ ones. It's like, does that mean that all 5 pictures of Hugh Jackman are interesting? I mean, so there is. It's hard to say, but I will agree that there are a lot of things that are interesting on that on the popular post. But again, a lot of those are popular people. And so there are people that have a lot of followers that, whether they deserve them or not, will have thousands or hundreds of plus ones, and their post is garbage. And to me, anyway, it's hi, it's good morning, it's hey everyone, what's happening out there, and that has 1,000, 2,000+ ones. When what did that, great, you asked a basic question, So I don't know. There's a weird kind of balance there,
Right. And then you have there were some of these classic YouTube videos like the kid coming home from the dentist who was
Right.
he'd been medicated and was saying funny things. Well, everybody sees that video and thinks it's funny, and then they're trying to be the next person to capture their kid saying funny things in the back of the car, drunk, on dentist medication on the way home.
Wouldn't you rather see wouldn't you like to see a version of that versus seeing the same one over and over again? If you had a choice.
I don't watch either. I'm just
Well,
saying I don't need another version of that thing that I thought was funny 2 years ago. I just need people to do things that are funny.
But
I think it's actually part of the human condition, because I think someone started talking about this, and I think, Matthew, you were about to say it. It's kind of like with music. It's kind of like with movies. Unfortunately, what happens is, something becomes popular, and then everyone tries to do it. And then, unfortunately, another side effect of that is everyone eats it up, and they try to do it, and then they perpetuate it and spread it and spread it and spread it until it gets boring,